All right, we want to welcome in Coach Brad Hood, Allen County, Scottsville. Coach, welcome to Media Day. If you would introduce your players, please.
Over here to the left, I've got Dylan Rookstool. Dylan is a senior. He's defensive lineman and fullback for us. And then over here to the right, I've got Jax Cooper. Jax is our wide receiver and occasionally plays a little DB for us.
Well, Coach, it's good to see you guys. Just kind of tell us how the last few weeks have been, practice-wise, and kind of what your feelings have been as far as this season going forward.
We're not going to get into my feelings because they've been up and down so bad, and this is a family-friendly show. But, you know, I tell you what, the number one thing that I've noticed, we've got 20-plus seniors this year, and they're taking it all in stride. I think I even told them a week and a half ago, I couldn't imagine how I would have felt if this would have been going on my senior year. But they show up. We're on 3 days a week. They show up. We're not out there long, but, you know, we've just bumped it up to about an hour and 15 minutes a session. And, man, they're working their tails off. They're getting better every single day with what we're doing. And, you know, for 9 weeks, we've been doing footwork and sprints and things of that nature. And it's not fun. You know, we're not running 7-on-7. We're not getting to do any O-line, D-line, one-on-one drills, you know, and we're staying separate. We've really not been together as a team. We scream across our big field up there is about the only team things we do. But the way that they're working, the way that they're putting it in, it's important to them. And that's what I've been the most happy about is that I know it's important to my guys because of the effort that they're giving and the attitudes they've got when they come in.
With 20 seniors, if this thing keeps going, it's going to ramp up pretty quick. Does that, as a coaching staff, make you feel a little more confident that you can ramp it up because you've got guys that have been through this?
Yeah, you know, we've got a lot of experience coming back. You know, these guys are game tested, and so, you know, in years past, last year when we walked on the field that first game and we had 17 new starters, you know, that was a struggle. But, you know, with this bunch, they've been on the field. You know, we've got good leadership. And that's what I think about these two guys right here. You're not going to find anybody that outworks them. And so guess what? The other group, you know, the seniors that go along with them kind of have that same mentality for the most part. So, you know, we're going to take it when we get them helmets on, and I've told them, you know, we're doing this now. We get them helmets on, we've got to be ready to be sponges. We've got to soak it in, and we've got to do it fast because 2.5 weeks later, we're going to be playing Glasgow, and, you know, we know they're going to be ready. And so it does give me a little bit of confidence that I believe we will have a little better showing the first of the year this year, even though it's so much shorter than we have in the past just because we got so much experience returning. These guys know how to play in a football game.
For either of the players, I mean, there's some expectations going in this year. And for you guys, I mean, how eager are you to get this going, not just as seniors, but knowing that, you know, that people are putting you into discussion for the district and even bigger things?
We're just trying not to let this get to us. I think that because of all this is happening, it's making us work harder in practice. I honestly do. And I feel like we're just going to be ready when it comes.
Yeah, we're putting a bunch of hard work in, and I'm not letting none of this phase us. Yeah, we're going to be ready.
With that in mind, what's your approach to Thursday going to be like, both of y'all?
Approach to Thursday.
Where they're going to announce someone to kick the can down the road, whether you know, or we're going to start on time. How we all approach that?
It doesn't matter what time we start. We'll be ready either way. We're just going to keep putting all the work in we can.
How about yourself?
I think we'll just worry about that when it gets here. We're going to keep working and see what happens.
Coach, were you able to fill your schedule?
Yeah, we got it. And it's worked out well. And you know, I was up in there at first. I thought about keeping it at 8. Luckily, you know, the last game that we got cut out of our first 3 weeks was Greenwood. Well, that's become a really good game, a really good rivalry, and it's a great gate, and it's at my house this year. And so, we tried to, but luckily, me and William, good friends, as soon as it popped out, hey, we're moving to November 6th, both up like, yes, we're keeping this game. And then I talked to the kids and I said, look, we can go 4, have 1 off during fall break, go 4 more. But I think these kids, they realize they want the opportunities because we never know what's going to happen week to week. So they're like, Coach, find a game. We're not going to Florida. We're going to stay home if it's done planned. We're not going, with all that stuff. And so I went out and worked a few different things and ended up, we're going to play Davis County at Davis County. They got a beautiful new turf field. Their 6A program that's been in the regional championship in the last couple of years, and the last 2 times we played them, they beat us in real close games. One of them, I felt like we give it to them with 5 turnovers and got beat by 4 points. So, and we're going to get some Old Hickory barbecue brought to the team after the game. That's my neck of the woods. We're going to eat good. We're going to be on fall break. We're going to go to Davis County. We're going to try our best to bust them in the mouth. We're going to play on that new nice turf field, and we're going to eat Old Hickory after. Hopefully it's not my treat, but if it comes down to it, it'll be my treat. So we usually go to Owensboro in the summers anyway. My skill guys know what Old Hickory is. They've been there because if I'm within 30 miles of Owensboro, I'm getting some barbecue. But that, and to go back earlier, we've said from day one, we know nothing's given. And my biggest thing, guys, I'm still at Allen County right now because of this group. I've been with this group from 8th grade. They walked into 8th grade and something happened. And this bunch is a big part of me, and they've been a special class for a long time. And so my biggest fear is feeling like I'm lying to them. And, I've tried to show up, but there's been days I've showed up after a governor makes this call or that call, and I'm like, man, I don't know if we're going to get to play. And so I've tried to be real open to them about that, and so after the last Board of Control meeting, when they said August 24th, we're putting helmets on, September 11th, we're playing, that's been our focus. That's been their focus. We can't control if that doesn't happen. But what we can control is if we show up at Glasgow September 11th ready to play. Whether we get 3 days to get ready to play or whether we get 3 weeks, we really don't give a crap because it's on us to be ready. And so that's the focus we've taken. That's what I've asked them to do. I try to be as honest with them as possible when we get new news. And guess what? These boys show up 3 nights a week. They're ready to work, and they hadn't questioned it one time. And boy, that's special. But that's why I'm still here. I'm getting old. 15 years at this school is a long time. I've waited for this bunch since I was in 8th grade, and we're going to fight with anybody we have to get on the field together.
Dylan and Jax, what would you guys say has been the biggest adjustment for you guys as players?
Mine not being able to get pads on and hitting somebody. I'm just too excited to get back in and hit somebody. But no, we're just going to go in.
He likes that part.
Yeah.
He really likes that part,
Yeah. But just keep sprinting and getting ready.
Mine would probably be being able to get with the quarterbacks and run routes. All the quarterbacks, not just one. Being able to catch the ball, run my routes, and just get a ball in my hand.
Coach, it's always an atmosphere at the home games for Allen County Scottsville, but it's more likely not everybody will be able to go to the games. How are everybody going to handle that?
I've got a great AD. That's how we're going to handle that. Carrie, and Carrie, you've known him a long time. Man, Carrie's got a plan for everything right now, and he tells me about it. I say, thanks, boss, and because that, I'll do what I can. I'll give my opinion when needed on that. Carrie knows how many people we can have in. If we can bring in 20%, 30%, 50%, 75%, he knows it to a T. He's been looking at it. He's laid out plans for how they're going to, and he runs them by me out of respect. But, man, that's a great feeling because, like I've told these kids, man, whether we're live streaming the game or whether we got a full house, it's our job to perform. We're not going to worry about that. If I have to, we do have a new nice speaker that we like to jam a little bit. If I have to, I'll put Coach is an Idiot on recording. Hood, go to HE, I'll do all the normal fan noises just to make us feel like we're at home. But, guys, we want to play football. These kids they deserve to play. And I've made that very clear from the get-go. Yeah, it will be weird if there's not many fans there. I mean, this one's mama and our quarterback's mama, as soon as that thought come out in May, Coach Hood, can we be managers? You know, I mean, they're trying to figure out, you know, they're like, hey, we've got to be, you know, but I'm going to let that happen, man. These kids deserve to play. They need film. I mean, these kids have got futures. You know, our biggest goal for both these guys and a lot of our guys is getting them the most experience they can possibly get. For the ones that want to go to the next level, they need tape. And we want to compete, man. Like I said, I didn't wait around 5 years for this group to become seniors for it to go down without a fight. Kind of with them. I mean, they've stuck together. They've worked through a lot, man. We have our issues. And they've worked hard to get to where they're at. They deserve the chance to be able to prove that. And I don't care if it's Christmas. I've told them we'll play on Christmas Day. We're going to do whatever we can to play. Hopefully we'll have 3,000 Patriot faithful standing behind us screaming. But if we only have 30% of that, so be it. We want to play football, and we're going to try to bring that. And so we've talked about that with our intensity in practice, and that's what's been great, man. They're doing the same drills over and over and over again. And when you see them screaming at each other to compete every day, they're not needing that motivation from anywhere else because they've adapted to it.
Coach, I know you've got a great squad coming back. Can you kind of fill us in on any players that you're looking at to step up this year that we may not have seen last season?
Man, I tell you, we've got, you know, which we got a lot of people coming back that's been on the field. You know, we do have two guys that haven't been with us for a couple of years that has gone. You know, Michael Smith started as tight end as a sophomore, didn't play last year, but big 6'3", lanky, long kid. He drives me 100% crazy. But when he's on the field, we're a better football team. Jake Bowe, who's one of our point guards on Coach Bonds' basketball team. Jake was a good little player for us as a freshman, had a few injury issues. Jake's a little small, quick as a cat. He's been out all summer since we started back, working hard, learning routes. You know, so those are two new guys. I tell you, some of our younger guys, you know, Tanner Stinson, who last year as a sophomore started both ways a lot of the year for us, but Tanner's going to be relied as our big heavy-duty defensive back. He's got the most experience coming back. You know, he's gotten stronger. He's gotten faster. He's still skinny as a twig, but he's tough. And then, you know, I think the most excited, and we had a good little report about him the other day, BG Daily News, but Nick Cooper. You know, we've got a guy that has been with this bunch forever that had a season taken away from him that has, man, worked brutally to get himself back to play. He's the most excited. I mean, the moment we walk on that field and I see number 11 padded up, that's going to be a great day for me. That's going to be, and I think he's the one I'm most excited about. But Doug, we've got young kids working hard. We've got a lot of sophomores last year that are juniors now that have transformed their bodies, working at home, working on you know, I got one that's working at his daddy's farm every single day. Man, he come in, he's looking awesome. You know, and we've done switched his positions. The kids are, you know, but our core is going to be the names we've heard. You know, Jax Cooper, Dylan Rookstool, Trace McIntyre, Landon Witcher, you know, Caden Whitney on the offensive and defensive line. Little McPeak, we've got another McPeak. Julian, the baby of the McPeak brothers, who started a lot last year as a freshman, has really matured a lot thanks to this guy. You know, when you got Big Dylan standing next to you saying you need to work harder, you work harder. You don't question that a lot of times, and Julian's come a long way. But man, we've got a lot of kids that are household names for us that, you know, Brandon Baxter, whether he's blocking at tight end or sneaking around and throwing 170 yards deep downfield for us on a trick play, you know, he's going to be asked to do more. And so it's good to see how hard the young ones are working, but it's great to see that the older ones hadn't been complacent with, well, I started last year, I'm good to go, because that little competition right there is fueling a lot. But, you know, we're going to be mainstay, hopefully, and we're going to give these boys a chance to go out and do what they've been preparing to do since they was in sixth grade of Little League.
So you mentioned 15 years. I mean, are you telling us something? I mean, you outlasted Bruni. You
Yeah,
outmatched
no,
Weston.
well, and my boys know, I tell you, this, last couple of years is just, there's been some things, I tell you, this bunch is a good bunch, man. And it's not that I think they're special on the field. I think we've got some talent that we hadn't had in a long time, but they're fun to be around. This one right here, he gets mad at me and he'll go off to the corner or he won't, and I'll text him at night and I'll be like, dude, are you done being mad? I know, coach, and I'll throw in, hey, I love you, and he'll mumble down. This one's ready to work 18 hours a day on the football field. I mean, they're fun, man. They make it exciting, and I tell you, with all the ups and downs of Corona and politics right now, man, in high school football, man, that's a safe space. And it's been invaded. And so we're trying to keep it as much as a safe. When we come to the football field, we make fun of each other. We try to have fun, even though we can't do it at the way, Jax was late today. I was making sure it wasn't because he was out chasing girls last night and he got his times mixed up. Now Dylan goes to bed at 10 o'clock. He's an old soul, but he was probably up at 5 this morning out in his shop throwing around truck tires because that's what he does. But I mean, this bunch they're fun. They're lovable. I mean, some teams you have to learn to love. And trust me, last year I had to learn to love some of those boys. It was hard sometimes. Man, this bunch has been special. I can tell you stories that these guys and their teammates have been doing on my field since they were in Pop Warner, since they were in middle school. I threw them an old middle school game their 8th grade year out on Huddle this summer that I'd found. Just so, hey, watch this, man. They spanked this team, spanked them. And they were having fun, chest bump. And man, I remember that game. I remember the way they played. This guy was running back, but he probably had 200 yards that night. Everybody on the other team was scared to death to try to tackle him. He'd just look at kids and they'd fall down. And man, that's what we try to, that's our atmosphere. And Doug, I will coach football probably until I die. That's what I like. It's still what I like. When it's not fun for me or then it's a problem. And I still have a lot of fun doing what I'm doing. And over the years, I've fought some things that I don't feel like I'm fighting, but some good things are happening in our school. I'm as excited about the first day of school to see our kids whenever that day rolls around as I've been in a long time. There's a lot of good things going on in Allen County right now that we want to keep. Like y'all have all heard me say before, we don't get the miracle 5-star athlete moving up here from Nashville. We get the 7th string center that weighs 112 pounds that maybe comes in occasionally. We got Allen County boys growing up playing Allen County football. And it's hard for me to say this. These guys, when they were little, their dream was to play football for me on that field and that program that we've built. And boy, I'm going to fight my ass off to make sure that they get the most out of that dream as they can get. And when I don't have the energy to do that no more, then we'll talk again. But right now, I love this. I love being a Patriot. I love where my school's headed, not just on my football team, but all the way through. And man, I'm building a swimming pool at my house. I'm never leaving there. All right? I'm building my kids a swimming pool just because we ain't going one more summer without getting wet. They quarantine us again, I'm going to have a jump rock. We're going to have our own fun. But this means something to us. Means something to these guys, and I'm going to fight, forgive my language, Superintendent Hamby, don't fire me. But we're going to fight, man. We're going to do what we love, and we're going to have fun doing it. And we might get mad at each other. We might get pounded at each other. End of the day, this kid knows I love him, and I know this kid is going to fight on Friday nights for me. And that's what high school football should be about. It's not about some movement. It's not about some two political parties can't get along, so we decide when we do or don't go to school. It's about these boys playing football, and that's what they need to make them better men in life, and they fought for 17 years to get to this moment. We will fight our ass off to make sure they get this moment.
Awesome. Coach, thank you. Drop the mic.
It's been a while.